Hello, everyone, and welcome to History Education. My name is Queen Kim. I am here with you with Women Abiding in the Word of Yah movement, hashtag Israel. Let's get into history education for this week. As you can see, the topic is the treadmill. Did you know? So, we're going to learn about the truth about the treadmill. I am learning this with you. I just found this out. So we're going to bring out the truth about the treadmill. And as you can see her, running on the treadmill. We see the treadmills in the gym all the time. You may have a treadmill at home. When you go to the gym and place your foot on the treadmill, do you know the history behind it? I'm going to say that again. When you go to the gym and you place your foot on the treadmill, do you know the history behind it? All right. Yes, the treadmill was invented to torture Black people. Okay. The treadmill was invented to torture Black people. This is history education. So we're all familiar with what the treadmill is, right? But did you know it was invented to literally torture Black people? And that's not even the worst part, right? The treadmill was originally a huge piece of machinery Britain installed within their prison systems as corporal punishment. All right. And yes, this education, history education for today, is a lot of it is from Push Black. So it's a page where they dig into your history. Okay. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Take a look at this slide. Okay. Look at the scripture, Isaiah 51:23. It says, "But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee." Afflict means torture. "Which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over." I put a couple pictures of us, when we were in slavery, some statues that were created to show, when we were in, bondage. We're still in bondage, right? But I wanted to put this scripture up because as we're learning our history, you got to know what happened. You got to know what's going on, right? A lot of people think slavery is just a figment of their imagination, like it never happened before. But it's true and it's real and it's a part of our history. In Israel, we know it, and we also got to educate the other nations as well, right? As we know, we are dealing with nations. We are not dealing with color. We are dealing with nations, right? So it says Isaiah 51:23, "But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee," right? We just said the treadmill was a huge piece of machinery Britain installed within their prison systems as corporal punishment, right? We're going to move to the next slide. Take a look at this picture, right? This is a picture that was drawn, that shows you what was going on around that time, okay? It's a treadmill seen in Jamaica, okay? So in Jamaica, Britain used this punishment to invent a new form of slavery, one that still exists today. In the 1830s, Britain was moving towards emancipation, or at least that's what they said. In reality, They didn't want to lose the free labor slaves provided. Remember, y'all, free labor the slaves provided. Israel, free labor. Remember these things. The slaves provided. They didn't want to lose it. That's what it says. It says they forced incarcerated Jamaicans to walk for hours on large treadmills, the mill grounding grains for British export. Prisoners were chained to bars, as you can see them up there, right? Holding on to them bars. They're chained. Their arms are chained to the bars. The treadmill moving fast, they appeared to look to be dancing. The slightest trip could be deadly, right? So I just want you to take a quick look at that picture. There's a lot going on in this picture. As you can see, the people up top holding on to those bars, they're not even holding, they're chained to those bars. It said the slightest trip can be deadly, right? Look down to the bottom right, you see a woman holding a baby. You see the two women as helpmates to the man that's on the ground, putting either water or sand or something in his face, right? He's laying there, he's out of it. You know, the one guy's just walking. We got a couple other ones look like they're lining up. You can see the chains that are on them. You can see them. And then you also see a couple of us look like we got the whip in our hand. But look all the way over to the left. You can see the Britain, the masters, right? You see them two over there in the corner. One got a hat on, one standing straight. And then you see the lady at the bottom with the baby, right? So this is a little bit of our history. So next time you get on a treadmill, just know your history. Think about it. Think about it, okay? As we continue to move, I do want to tell you that treadmills were even used throughout America's southern states, only merely as a torture device, right? I just want you to take a look at that picture again. All right. We're going to read Exodus chapter 1, verse 22. And the word says, and Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. Sorry. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive, right? Israel. I say black man because it's the black man, it's the tribe of Judah, it's the African Americans that they call us. There has been a plot to kill the men since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of time, there has been a plot to kill us. That's why we're rapidly dying. It is a curse. There has been a plot to get rid of us since the beginning, right? Since the beginning, as the Israelites were getting, led by, growing and building. You can read the scripture for yourself. There was a plot to kill all the men, all the boys, right? So think about those things as you look and think about the jail cells and how majority of the population is us, right? And when I say us, I say it's Israel, right? The majority of the population, it's us. So we really got to think about these things because it all ties into our history, right? So I'm going to read you a little bit more history. It says, white abolitionists approved of the torturous treadmill. As we get back onto the treadmill, right? On paper, Britain abolished slavery in 1834. The reality is they used prisons to create a new form of slavery, one that still exists today on a global scale. In 2022, roughly 1.9 million people are incarcerated in America. Black people are 38% of this population. America's 13th Amendment abolished slavery except as punishment for crime, right? Initially, white supremacist governments only agreed to emancipate enslaved Africans once they had the next steps for enslavement in place. The prison industrial complex, America's incarceral system, is the modern day slavery. All right. Yes. Police equal enslavers. All right. So think about it. Look, know your history, study your history, know what's going on. And I'm learning too. And we can learn together. But this is part of our history education. So I hope that you got something out of this as we talked about, our history, as we learned about the treadmill. Once again, this is history education for all nations. So when we look at history, Israel, we must educate each other in other nations. They will never learn the truth in the school districts. Knowledge. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. That scripture is deep, and that scripture is real. Israel continue to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, and also the other nations who are clinging on to Israel, and they know who are the chosen people of Yah, and they are practicing, everything that we are doing. He sees that and he hears that. So yes, this is history education. We are women who are abiding in the word of Yah movement. Hashtag Israel. Thank you so much for joining me today, and you have a great day.